Hi, this is Gene. Today I got a question from a friend who's working in the education industry. And I was asked about conducting online courses for Chinese students from elementary school through about 12th grade. So this isn't exactly a business question, but I think when American teachers are preparing to teach Chinese students online, a lot of the cultural awareness elements also are important. So, for example, um, so you can presume that most of the students uh, who are taking an online class with American teachers, they probably have upper middle class to upper class family backgrounds. That means they're wealthy. And they're wealthy uh, presumes that they will send their children overseas someday or to America someday to go to school. They're probably making investments here in the US. They probably have housing and property in the US. They may even be trying to get their green cards. But the key is a lot of them want to send their children over to the US. So the thing to understand as teachers is that these are not your kind of average Chinese kids. Okay. That's probably the first thing to be aware of. The second thing to be aware of is Chinese all value education a lot. So the educational system in China is much different. It's dramatically different. So probably if they don't speak English really well and you're teaching them English, then you can expect a more Chinese type of student. So what does that mean? That means that they're more into listening than they are into participating. Okay. Now, these are young kids that their parents are wealthy and they've taken them all over the world and they've traveled a lot to the United States. They could actually be at the other extreme, which is they're actually very opinionated and undisciplined. And from an American context, it would be equivalent to being spoiled. So there's two extremes of these types of Chinese students that you may encounter as American teachers when you teach them online. One is they're very obedient, they're very studious, they don't like to participate, they just like to listen to the teacher and they take notes and they do their homework. And at the other extreme is that they're they might be quite spoiled and uninterested, and that's so it's really hard to gauge um, what you might encounter just from saying that you're going to teach uh, young students from grade one to high school. So the thing that I would really focus on is, well, there's two things that you should really focus on, and it's probably the same regardless of whether you're teaching Chinese students or not. Is really you have to be aware of what is their level of engagement and where is their attention. So it doesn't really matter what the subject matter is. I'm sure it's universal when you're teaching any type of student, even high school students here in the U.S. Is you really want their attention and you really want their engagement. And I think generally speaking, Chinese students are a little bit more respectful towards teachers. I know that my father's a professor, and even at the college level, not all American students are respectful to their teachers. So generally speaking, Chinese students should be generally more respectful. So as an American educator, you would want to learn how to or discover how to leverage that respect in order to translate that into attention and engagement. And that's just something that you're going to have to work through. So it's like I said, it's really hard to give general advice because every student is different, every individual is different. But those are the things to be aware of when you are trying to engage Chinese students online. It's really to focus on engagement and their attention, to understand that their behavior could come from two extremes. It's almost like an either or. Either they're very studious, very respectful, don't like to participate, or they're quite spoiled and they don't really care about the work and they're just there because they have to learn English or whatever it is you're teaching them. So just be aware that their behavior and their responses could be at extremes. But generally speaking, I think how you work with students, and especially how you engage with students online, it's pretty much universal. Okay, so that's what I would say.